Hey, what is going on guys? It's Modded Warfare here. Welcome back to another PS5 video. So this is Bloodborne running at a consistent 60 FPS on the PS5 at its native resolution of 1080p, rock solid 60 FPS experience. This is by far the best possible version of Bloodborne that you can get at the moment. And also we have Red Dead Redemption 2 running at 60 FPS on the PS5. So let's go ahead and take a step back and look at how we actually got here. So your typical Bloodborne experience on the PS5 is going to be much and such the same as what you will experience on the PS4. And that is because From Software never released any kind of performance patch for the PS5, nor for the PS4 Pro either, so it still runs at its base PS4 settings of a locked 30 FPS with improper frame pacing and a native resolution of 1080p, which leads to a suboptimal experience at best. So then of course we had Lance McDonald, who released a unofficial 60 FPS patch for the PS4 for jailbroken PS4s, specifically targeting the PS4 Pros with boost mode enabled at 720p resolution. You can actually achieve a close to 60 FPS experience in most scenarios. However, there are situations where the frame rate will drop even further below 60 FPS with these settings. So on a PS4 Pro here, running through the level, traversing the level, that tends to be what tanks the frame rate the most, primarily because the Jaguar cores of the PS4 are just not able to keep up with the demand, with the asset streaming that's required. And this is a common problem that you will see with these patches on PS4. For example, Resident Evil 4 Remake had a similar patch where you could lower the resolution pretty much as far down as you wanted, so all the way down to like 360p or 240p, a really low resolution, and it still couldn't maintain a 60 FPS when being attacked by quite a few enemies. So clearly this is just a common problem with these patches with the PS4. So what's exciting about this is we can now port these over to the PS5 version, because jailbreakable PS5s, there's now a method, a homebrew POC by Astrelsky or Astrelsky, that can allow developers like Illusion to port these patches over to the PS5 version, which is exactly what Illusion has been doing here. He's ported Lance McDonald's 60 FPS patch over to the PS5 version, as well as Red Dead Redemption 2, and many of his other patches are being worked on as well. So as you can see here, Bloodborne on PS5, it runs at a rock solid 60 FPS, and this is without any reduction to the resolution, so you're not sacrificing image quality, you're getting the same image quality of 1080p at a rock solid 60 FPS. I've ran through this same section, it's stayed consistently at 60 FPS throughout. You can see that the Zen 2 based CPU of the PS5 has no trouble with the asset streaming like the PS4 does, and we don't have any issues whatsoever. Even when I go into that same section with lots of enemies on screen, still no dips in the frame rate, it stays consistently at 60 FPS. The same cannot be said for the PS4 Pro. If we take a look at the PS4 Pro at the same exact settings using the same patch of 1080p with the 60 FPS patch enabled instead of 720, you can see it's in the kind of low 40s in a lot of cases, mid to low 40s, and then when things really start to ramp up, we're getting down into the 30s even. So you can really see the difference there between the PS4 Pro running the same settings and the PS5, where the PS5 just stays at a rock solid 60 FPS throughout the entire experience, or from what I've been able to record so far. And it's much and such the same situation with Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. This is some older footage here comparing the PS4 patch. So here we have the default on the left of 30 FPS lock, which is the same as how it runs on the PS5 as well, but it runs with the PS4 Pro's resolution settings, which are higher than 1080p. I think it's around 1900p thereabouts. So this is kind of more interesting to see if it will break the 60 FPS lock on PS5, and I believe that's with 1080p resolution. But if we switch over to the PS5 patch here, at the native resolution of the PS4 Pro's resolution on PS5, we are maintaining a solid 60 FPS throughout this little intro sequence. However, obviously it would be better to test a more demanding scenario. Unfortunately, I don't have a save that would allow me to get to some of the more busy areas of the game that would really stress the system, but I was able to at least get to the O'Driscoll shootout section, and you can see that this scenario plays out at a solid 60 FPS as well, with no drops that were observed. So far a rock solid 60 FPS experience on Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. And yeah, this is some pretty exciting stuff, because that bottleneck that we've had with the PS4 for so long with these patches, with the asset streaming issues, with the Jaguar cores not being able to keep up, causing these huge dips in frame rate, not being able to maintain a 60 FPS experience, even when lowering the resolution all the way down to 720p or lower. That is now removed here on the PS5, and we can really see, you know, how well we can get these games to perform now, especially when there's so much performance being left on the table by these games where developers never released a PS5 patch to take advantage of the more powerful hardware. So just wanted to give you guys a little showcase of this. Thanks to Illusion for allowing me to test some of these patches and show them to you here. I'm sure he will be releasing this stuff at some time in the future, once the homebrew POC for the PS5 is in a more complete state. Now, if you're wondering how you can get a console that is capable of running any of these patches, then it needs to be on a system software version of 4.51 or lower. And I do have a buyer's guide for that I'll leave down in the video description. However, they are quite hard to find these days. So hope you guys enjoyed this video or found the information useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one.